Hello, thank you for being here. I really appreciate your time.
Yeah, of course.
How are you doing today?
Good. I assume you are Jake Foley.
Yes, that is me. It is nice to meet you. I don't want to take up too much of your time, so we'll get right into it. Last fight, it didn't go your way, but really exciting, fun fight. What were your takeaways when you got to go back, rewatch it, study it, take it all in?
Yeah, I've been asked that. Yes, it was a painful fight. Losing is never fun, and it took a little bit of time and perspective for me to, rewatch the fight. I'm glad you found it entertaining because that's what I want all my fights, entertaining. But I think the one big takeaway that I had was I know that I'm capable of much more than what I showed in that fight. I think I put a little bit too much pressure on myself. It was a belt that I've been going after for 4 years, and I felt like I had to get it. And that kind of pressure kind of was a little too much, I think. And I wasn't able to kind of show my creativity as much or be able to flow as well because I felt so much pressure.
So how do you
So at
prevent
this time,
that?
yeah, it just took the fun out of it, and I do this because it's fun.
And so how do you make that type of adjustments? Because I feel like it's like if you go in there, you lose a fight and it's physical. Oh, we're gonna go back to training, we're gonna work, we're gonna come back stronger. But something mental like that, yeah, how do you really adjust that?
It's, something you work every day. Confidence for me, at least, is not something you attain one time and you have it forever. It's something that you have to continually work on and find, go back and be able to appreciate the little progress that you've made. Because sometimes it's hard to see when you're just, in a daily grind to be able to see the little progress that you've made. So I've been doing that a lot, focusing on the progress I've made and, being able to see that progress makes me appreciate how far I've come.
And so, last question about that fight, this type of pressure you're feeling, when did you really realize that it was going to be a factor? Was it not till after? Was it during fight week before you even showed up at the venue?
I think I was feeling it the week of the fight. I'm usually I'm still a cheerful person. I still, love being there. Try to appreciate the moment, but I think there were times where I was like, oh God, I got to do this. I got to do this, and it's just it takes the fun out of it. And I'm approaching this fight a lot differently now.
And so now, by the time you fight again, it'll have been a year. Is that exactly what you were hoping for, that timeline? Did you want to fight a little bit sooner, or why did it play out that way?
I definitely wanted to fight sooner. It just didn't work out. I'm still appreciative that I have this opportunity. And it's I think ever since COVID, I haven't been able to fight as frequently as I'd like. So I'm kind of used. I guess I got used to this timeline. Not that I like it, but I'm able to use my visualization as a tool to kind of bring myself back into that mentality and the environment that I'll be in. So I use that a lot in my I guess in my training.
And so now, you're returning to defend the kickboxing world title. And, I hope this question doesn't come off the wrong way, but for not have fighting and like defending the title for so long, does it take away at all from that feeling that you are the world champion for that weight class?
No, not at all. I mean I still been active in Muay Thai and been climbing my ranks up there. So it doesn't take away from the fact that I am still the world kickboxing champion, and I still will be in a couple weeks.
And so, such a long like combat sports journey. And now you get to this point where you're going to be headlining event, not just any event, but a female led event with so many talented fighters. How special is that? That just, in general, One Championship puts these events together because they have enough female talent to make it happen.
I'm honestly very, very honored to be able to headline such a huge show like this. I'm obviously a huge proponent of women in STEAM, like engineering and martial arts are, the two areas that I'm involved in. So it's amazing that One Championship can put a show like this together to really empower women and show what women are capable of.
Yeah, because you really don't see it, right? Outside of like Invicta for MMA, that's really all they have where it's fully like female led. So I'm just really looking forward to the event. I'm sure you are too.
Yeah, of course.
And so now, you'll be taking on Phetjeeja. Did you know this fight was going to happen after her last performance? Did you kind of see it coming before they offered it to you officially?
Yeah, of course.
And and so, what are your thoughts of her as a fighter, and what do you really expect when you get in there with her?
She's got very good boxing head movement, boxing. So I expect a lot of forward pressure and boxing type movements from her.
And so I think a lot of fans, not everyone, but just some of them, they kind of see this as like a passing of the torch, right? Because it's like she's the new superstar. You're the gritty veteran who's been around for a while in a bunch of wars. So, what do you kind of think of when you hear that narrative, and why is that just simply not the case?
I'm still I'm still in my prime, whether people believe it or not. I know it within myself, and I still have, something to show, and I'm ready to show it in a couple weeks. So hope people can see that.
Yeah, and I think there's no doubt you showed it in your last fight. So I don't really see it as like like you're out of your prime type of thing. I think it's just more like they give her so much credit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, she's been doing it for a long time, and I could appreciate somebody who's done it since she was a little girl, and to continue with it, um, up and on the world stage like this. So I can appreciate that. I
Yeah,
wish I was able to do that.
that's kind of what my next question was about, like the difference between like the Muay Thai journey and the kickboxing journey for Thai fighters and Americans, because she's 20 years old, but her record, she's got like 210 fights, but at the same time your experience is so much more because of who you fought. So how do you kind of analyze that, and how do you kind of see her experience with having so many fights, but who has she fought before joining one championship?
I mean, ring experience is still ring experience, and I think it's valuable. And so I don't take that away from her. I don't take it away from me. Um, but I think the big difference is, yeah, we don't in the United States we don't have as much opportunity to compete. And a lot of my competition has come in the way of like tournaments, world tournaments, fighting different types of fighters, different styles. So that allowed me to really learn how to adapt in the fight. So I feel like I'm able to bring that forward into all my fights in one championship.
Yeah, so did you get like a nice like relief when you did join one championship? Because it's like, okay, now it's going to be a little simpler to find out like where I'm going to fight next.
uh yeah, I guess you know who your opponents are before you fight. And
Yeah.
instead of the tournaments where you're like, there's a big bracket. I don't know who I'm gonna fight, but I guess I'll figure it out when I'm in there. So
And
yeah, I guess that's nice. But yeah, I think it's been great fighting for one championship. I really appreciate their values. I feel like they're very aligned with mine, and they've treated me very well. So I'm very thankful.
and so during that experience with these tournaments, would you have times like where you'd go and you wouldn't know, and then it would be a similar fighter you already know, like, oh, I fought them before, and they're like, all right, I can get used to this, or was it always somebody new?
I've had like maybe one rematch because the circuit's still pretty small, so you end up fighting similar people. But I don't. I think I only fought like one one person within the same sort of tournament circuit before. I lost to her one time, and then like a couple months later, we were in the same tournament, and I was able to get that win back because I was able to adjust. So yeah.
We may have to find her and do the trilogy then, if that's the case. Yeah. And so I know you're fully focused on your next opponent, but just in general, do you ever think about those opponents you want to fight again in the future? Rodriguez, Stamp, Fairtex. Are those losses that you want to avenge in the future?
So I don't know if it's been announced yet, but I've actually made the decision to uh, go to my next chapter. Chapter, I guess you would say. So like like for now, I'm very, very focused on who I have in front of me, and I don't really focus on the future because once you start thinking about the future, you lose sight of the present.
Mhm.
So yeah, I don't think about stuff like that much, at least not right now at all.
And so, how do you see this fight playing out? I expect it's going to be a battle, it's going to be a war, but not giving any of your game plan away. How do you really think this is going to play out? Do you think the judges are going to be needed? What do you expect?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a tough and interesting fight. I plan to to yeah, I yeah, without giving too much away of my game plan. I plan to capitalize on things that she might be able that she might expose in her boxing. But yeah, I definitely see it as a good back and forth fight with my hands raised at the end.
And that's all I have for you today. I really appreciate your time. I can't wait for your upcoming fight. And whether you fight again or not, I'm excited for your next chapter. I'm a fan, and I wish you all the best for your next fight and moving forward.
Thank you, Jake.
Have a great rest of your day.
You too. Okay.